back to my monthly horror roundup, where I list off every horror movie coming out in the month of August, quickly tell you what they're about, and where you can watch them. First, on August 1st, Rub comes to VOD. Rub follows Neil, a lonely man who gets bullied at work and is unlucky in love. At the suggestion of his coworker, Neil decides to go to a massage parlor, and in the process, his life changes in ways he never could have imagined. A few days after, on August 4th, The Meg 2: The Trench releases in theaters. Half horror and half action, The Meg once again follows Jason Statham's character, Jason Statham, as he takes to the ocean to battle a new batch of massive sharks. Also on August 4th, The Passenger releases on VOD. The Passenger is about a man who is forced to face his fears and confront his troubled past when his coworker snaps and goes on a violent killing spree. Also on August 4th, The Wendigo can be rented digitally. The Wendigo's story is, after a social media star disappears deep in the woods, his friends ignore the legend of the cursed land in order to figure out what happened to him. 4 days later, on August 8th, Island Escape comes to VOD. This follows a team of mercenaries who embark on a rescue mission to an island surrounded by wormholes that reset time every 3 days, and that is inhabited by hideous monsters. 3 days after that, on August 11th, Last Voyage of the Demeter comes to theaters. This is directed by Andre Overdahl, director of some of the best horror movies of the 2010s, Troll Hunter, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and The Autopsy of Jane Doe. His newest film adapts a chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel and follows the doomed crew of the Demeter trapped on the open sea and being hunted down by a terrifying creature hidden aboard the ship. As well, on August 11th, Elevator Game comes to Shudder. This is based on the online trend that was popularized on TikTok, a ritual conducted in an elevator in which players attempt to travel to another dimension. The film follows a group of friends who attempt to play the game, which of course leads to some pretty deadly consequences for all of them. A third film comes out on August 11th, and that is Communion Girl, which also drops on Shudder. This film takes place in Spain and follows two young women who, on their way back from a nightclub, are haunted by a little girl and her creepy doll. A week later, on August 18th, Bad Things comes to Shudder as well. Bad Things has a synopsis pretty similar to The Shining, as a weekend getaway for a group of friends at a snowy resort leads to a psychological tailspin and a bloody nightmare. On August 22nd, Belle comes to VOD. This is a horror adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, and is about an unstable farm girl who becomes a prisoner to a flesh-eating beast to cure her father's illness. And last, on August 25th, The Dive will be on VOD. The Dive tells a tale of two sisters who go diving at a beautiful remote location, and when one is struck by a rock, leaving her trapped 28 meters below, it is up to her sister to fight for her life. Of all the movies I just listed, my pick for my most anticipated horror movie for the month of August is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I have so much respect for Andre Overdahl. Scary Stories is a complete blast and the perfect introduction to horror movies for young adults. Troll Hunter is my second favorite giant monster movie, behind only Cloverfield. And The Autopsy of Jane Doe is the #1 movie I recommend to people asking for underrated horror suggestions. It never disappoints. It is so scary and so good. In his career, Overdahl has made hit after hit, and I expect the same with The Demeter. Dracula on a boat is such a strong premise. Being surrounded by the open sea at night is already an incredibly isolating and frightening experience, before a vampire even gets introduced into the mix. The trailer looks great. I have extremely high hopes for The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Also, while this isn't my most anticipated of the month, I did want to give a quick shout out to The Wendigo. If you know me, you know Wendigos are far and away my favorite subject matter in horror. This might not appeal to anyone else, but a found footage Wendigo movie is exactly in my Q zone. Alright, those are the new horror movies coming out this August. In the comments below, please tell me what your most anticipated movie for the month is. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Horror Flicks with Nick. Twice a week I post horror reviews, commentaries, and short recommendations for horror movies you should watch on Netflix and other streaming services. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you back in September.